Yo, what are we at? Day 17. Day 17 today. Man, what a ride this has been. For anyone who's new to the channel, I am doing daily videos for for 30 days. And the idea is for me to improve my speaking and communication on the camera and to learn to communicate with you all on the other end and basically give some form of value, and also the practice for myself is in articulating my thoughts and allowing what I have going on in my life, whether it's storytelling, whether it's simply challenges that I'm having, and being able to express them in a smoother format. And yeah, so far it's been quite a journey. It's gone from being quite awkward in the beginning to trying to rush through it, being really stuck on my words. And what I'm noticing, also, by the way, if you enjoy anything that I'm doing here, please give me a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel drawn towards doing, and they all help support me on my journey and hopefully help you to support yourself on your journey as well, because if you're following along with this, there may be something in here for you. And so I don't believe we encounter things in our lives without any form of reason. Call it a belief system. I believe that we encounter certain people for certain reasons. And it may be just because you're like, I fucking hate that. Maybe that's the thing that you come across. Or you go, maybe he's got a point. Or he says a few things that I like and a few things that I don't really like. Cool. Part of this is in being imperfect, and it's being expressive within our imperfections. And so when we can actually do this, when we can be more authentic, people can resonate with us more. That's one of the key points that I've noticed. Is that the more that I just let myself go, let myself flow more and be who I am, the more people are following, the more people are subscribing, which is cool, like really cool. Because I've touched on this in previous videos. For those who are following along, you've already heard this. It's worth it's worth going back into. It's this whole idea of when we're trying to be someone that we're not, it comes out clunky, it feels forced, it feels like a whole mix of emotions that are ultimately not even us. They're just pretending. It's the mask. And so when it comes to sitting in front of the camera, yeah, people can train themselves to be really good presenters and actors and all of that sort of thing. Can you be yourself? That's what I'm more curious about. Can you be yourself on camera? And you just happen to be doing YouTube videos. You just happen to be a coach. You just happen to be some person doing reviews for something. And so the more that you can bring yourself through in all of these, the more people are going to resonate, because this is you accepting your own voice. This is you accepting how you sound, how you come across, and go, I'm actually going to tweak that. I'm going to speak a little bit differently tomorrow, because that's the thing that I'm wanting to say more. And we don't really know until we start. And so for myself, it's actually using more of a range of melody in the way that I'm speaking and being a little bit more let's say having more of a dynamic range. Because when I start being like monotone and I start speaking more basic, it has a certain purpose. It works sometimes. And then other times it's like, it gets boring. It gets really boring. And so the more that I tap into this with myself, it's finding out when it is that I want to be explosive, because there's certain times where I really want to be explosive, and there's things where I want to introduce more of a cadence. This is when I get on a roll with things and I start wanting to actually move the voice in different ways. More of in music, it would be like a staccato pattern where you start speaking like this and all of the words have an ending to them. I mean, that sounds pretty boring as it is. But that's like, you can make those things kind of exciting. You can make them really exciting if it has the right impact, if it's actually the right thing for the occasion. And yeah, the default when we start speaking is like, oh, I'm kind of frozen up. Hi, I'm Mitchell. Welcome to my channel. And I can be kind of a robot. That was fun. And then, yeah, there's also another thing that I noticed, like looking around at some other YouTube videos and things that I've been practicing myself over the recent times and the recent year or so. When we use cutscenes and we edit our videos in order to make them cleaner, is that because, are you using it because you are uncomfortable with your gaps in your speaking? Are you doing it because it's adhering to the algorithm? Are you mixing a bunch of takes together in order to say a very simple thing? The reason I ask this is because I've been going through this same thing with recording reels. Recording reels, I would sit there going, okay, I've got to get this point across in a minute. And what will happen is I get up in my head, I try and say the right things, and it comes out all rigid. And I end up just hating what's come out. And what I've put this down to is, for starters, me not being comfortable with my free flow of conversation. It's me trying to fabricate some sort of perfection, trying to make sure that the video that I put out conveys the message that I want it to convey. Now, if this is an authenticity piece, if this is you giving some sort of authenticity, the editing isn't really necessary. Now, if you're doing some form of teaching video, or it's educational, it's designed to make a point, and you've delivered it with conviction when you recorded it, you had a lot of conviction, maybe it's about tidying it up, that's going to be felt. If you were frustrated while you were making it, that is what people are going to receive. And so your internal state, like how you're feeling at whatever time, is going to be felt by the people on the other side of the camera. Whether or not you want it to or not. It's one of these almost unexplainable things. It gets transferred. And so if I were to be very tired, I think I was yesterday, if I wasn't honest with you about being tired and trying to be highly enthusiastic, it would have come across as fake. The only way to really shift this is to shift our own internal state before we do the video. And there's a real thing where you can change your state. You could, like I spoke about in the previous videos, you could motivate yourself. You could talk yourself up and really, like, come on, we got this. You can really hype yourself up. And if you can do that to yourself, you can really pump up your energy and shift your state. You'll notice that you're not feeling feeling tired anymore. It won't have the same impact. Because also what happens is, if you're feeling in a particular state, your mind will also create stories to back that up. And if you believe those stories, that is also going to be transferred via video. So if you're if you're feeling tired or feeling sad or something like that, and you fake being enthusiastic, all that's going to come through is fake mask of enthusiasm and sadness or tiredness. Where if you actually change your state, so that if someone were to ask you, you'd go, oh man, I'm feeling great. And that's your natural reaction. Perfect. The enthusiasm is going to be natural and it's going to be felt. This is a whole thing with people going on stage, doing stage speaking, performing music. It's about changing your state before you go on stage. It's about changing your state before you get on the camera. And this may be just jumping up and down a few times, getting psyched up for it. But if you come in and you're feeling like you're all serious and you're just like, hey guys, how you doing? And it's going to be like fake. It's not going to be fun. And maybe you could psych yourself into it enough by playing in that role. Maybe you can fake it until you make it, so to speak, and start feeling that state coming to life. However, something that you may find by the end of the video or the end of the performance is that you feel very, very drained. It's because it's not a real mask. It's not a real, say, experience that you are putting out. It's like, I'm going to fake it until I'm in this space, but that faking it, if you've ever played games before, you get like your energy levels or your mana levels and your stamina, and it'll just like slowly diminish down. Because the one thing that doesn't diminish your energy levels is being yourself. You can be yourself and happen to be doing a bunch of things. I can be myself, play guitar, be myself and sing, be myself and be on these YouTube videos. I can be myself and go for a walk on the beach. I can be myself and go and network around a bunch of people constantly. I have this thing coming up where I can hear my ego coming through and saying, oh, you can't say this in front of this person. Every time that happens, we put up a little guard. And especially if that was something that was really being asked to come through, if there's something that you were talking about on camera and that topic needs to come up because it's come up, it's like it's ready, and then you shut it down and say, no, not now. I get it if it's off topic. You can make a bookmark of it later. However, if you're doing an authentic video, free flow, it works. And it's about gauging what's like, having discernment as well. There's like a whole mix of skills to develop within it. Like, I'm not going to go into certain topics. Like, I'm not going to go into my recent bowel movements. That would be not really relevant to this channel. Yet it's still something that I have happen in my day. I could talk about that I drink cacao each day, or that I don't know, the first thing I have in the morning, I wake up and I drink lots of water in the morning. And yeah, maybe there's a time and a place for that. Maybe it is time for that. How do you get your day started? Because the way that you get your day started really, really impacts the rest of your day and the way that it flows. The way that you approach tasks, the way that you challenge yourself. And so I've been experimenting with a bunch of different morning routines. I've tried doing longer meditations, I've tried doing shorter meditations. tried moving my body in the morning. I've tried doing workouts first thing in the morning. The thing that seems to get me going the most, for starters, is a cold shower first up. I've just recently started those up again. And then the next one is just simply jumping up and down, doing jumping up and down, moving my arms around, body slapping, and all of that sort of stuff. Doing 5 minutes of that in the morning before I meditate has been really helpful, because it kind of gets my body moving and alive. And then I do some breath work. I'll do 10 minutes of breath work. It's a pretty short burst of it. And meditate anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes. I was doing 60-minute meditations, and I found them to be a bit much for the beginning of the day, purely because I like to get moving in the morning. And so having a morning routine that allows me to connect with myself and get deeper in my own body, and then create some sort of movement, really helps me to get the motor running in the day. And so things like stretching, I'll be implementing into the evenings, and along with meditation as well. And so, yeah. Today I feel like a bit spacey. And I've been at this workshop yesterday. It is the most woo-woo thing that I could have imagined ever doing. And if you told me that 5 years ago, me 5 years ago, and told me that I was going to be doing a workshop on aliens and channeling light language, I would have said that you were crazy. And when I've gone into this realm, this is the thing that I'm also resistant to talking about, because there's this thing that I have where I like to explore let's say, the polarity of experiences. And so if there's something that's really woo-woo and really out there, it also concerns things like the quantum field. It also ties in with things like science, and which I don't actually know a lot about. It's the quantum field. It's this kind of unexplainable thing that we're aware of, and yet the only thing that only thing that we can really quantify about it is that creative ideas come from this space. So if you're an artist, you're a creator, you have ideas come in. Where do those ideas come from? And we have people that have weird skills and powers and things that... Have you ever been around someone and they just seem to be healing you? Like they feel like they heal you when you're around them? We'd all have those sort of people, and there's something going on. Now, I wouldn't say that my belief system is going to start turning this channel into an aliens sort of channel. However, I don't see any point in denying it. Because when I deny the existence of certain things, I end up blocking myself to potential. I block myself off to a whole range of people and a potential aspect of myself that I could be blocking out. And so, as you can tell, talking about this experience feels quite vulnerable to speak about. I'm also aware of projections from other people and from myself, that it feels weird to talk about this realm in a public space. Because in the past, I would have projected a lot. I would have been, judging a lot and saying these people are weirdos. How can they believe in aliens? How can they believe in, other planets? And I'm like sitting in this space going, why not? Why wouldn't there be other civilizations on other planets? Like, are we that deluded that we think that we're the only living beings in this universe? We've got to be fucking mad, hey? And so I know it's scary. It's a scary topic because it's also exciting to think that there is something out there. It's not like we can, not like we see them physically. And this is the whole thing within this realm. It's like being able to get into a deeper sense of feeling, which as human beings, we're all built as empaths. So as a child, like, you would have been empathetic. You would have felt things from people around you and sensed things. And then as you got older, that ability seems to diminish in a lot of people. It did for myself. And I just ended up creating all of this story to sort of rationalize my way out of it. And then as I got older, I was like, oh shit, I can feel things again. This is weird. And all of a sudden this like sensing and feeling of other people's emotions and their vibe, like I was able to feel that. And yeah, realizing that it's more of a returning back to what I was born as, and that most people are born as. I say most people because I don't know if I'm pretty sure that most people are empaths. So yeah, coming into a deeper connection with this. By the way, this work is actually helping me with the interactions over YouTube. It's helping me to be more interactive and to, say, energetically connect. This is a really tough one to talk about. This is going to become easier. So I would love in the comments, have you guys ever felt any sort of feeling where you are aware that you're aware of what other people are feeling? Or you're aware that you sense things that other people don't? I'd love to hear in the comments. Because yeah, for myself, it's been a huge journey. And I feel like I've been so in the 3D, like in this, reality and living it out. And I was blocking myself off to all of this unseen stuff. And this ties in with spirituality. It doesn't really tie in with a belief system, so to speak. I guess it does. Yeah. It is a belief system of sorts, because to believe in energy is also to be opposing people who don't believe in energy. So it's my experience that most people do believe in energy to some extent. You would know if someone with a bad vibe walks in the room. You wouldn't just have to see them. You don't have to hear what they're saying. You'd feel it. There's a gut instinct. There's something going on there. And yeah, that's what I'm exploring over these few days. It's exciting. And shifting the way that I view the world. Because my intention in all of this is to take all of these concepts that are very out there concepts, like fully zoomed out, and to be able to explain them in a really simple format that anyone can understand, that doesn't even have to be woo-woo to really get. And yeah, part of my mission is to do that. And you're experiencing the first attempts at me trying to explain that. So thank you for your patience, and thank you for being attentive. Watch me collect my thoughts. Because the collecting of your thoughts and ideas and all of that, they don't happen overnight. It's not like you just wake up and you're like, oh, I know how to communicate this thing perfectly. Maybe that's a limiting belief for myself as well. However, I would say that, yeah, getting this practice in front of the camera, in front of different people does take some time. especially with whatever endeavor that you're going on right now, to have patience with yourself, to be gentle on yourself, as well as consistent. So there's a balance there. There's a balance of grit and that consistency, that devotion to your mission, as well as acknowledging where you've come from, like where you started. For example, like day 17 of doing this, like how many hours is that racked up now? Like 8 hours of YouTube time now racked up, which is super cool. Because yeah, I wouldn't have ever imagined that being a thing. Like it seemed so unachievable. I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Trying to create some sort of plan to create a podcast. By the way, the podcast is called Masters of Attention. And I do have two episodes on my Spotify. And I will be continuing with that after this challenge. And this challenge is likely to shift to more bite-sized videos. I'm thinking more 10 to 20 minutes. Because I would like to continue them, and I want to continue it for a longer term. Probably, maybe I could do it for the whole year. That'd be cool. But yeah, to make it doable, it will be shorter videos. And the shorter videos will be more concentrated. So whatever idea there is, like I want to see how well I can summarize a certain topic. So maybe for the next 30 days after this, it will be maybe 20 minutes. And then maybe I can bring it down to 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll ponder on that one and see how I go. Because I find the 30 minutes it's good. I have a lot of time to work with, and learning to be patient with myself. Also, the next goal is taking that big thought process that takes me 30 minutes to do and bring it down to 20. Because what happens when we try to rush? You may have half an hour worth of talking to do, and you try and fit it into a 1.5-minute reel. It's just not going to work. And part of this, the way I see it, is kind of like a boiling pot. Imagine you're cooking up a soup, or I don't know, what would you call, like a broth or something like that. And you start off with the broth and you want to reduce that, or any form of cooking. You can reduce that thing down by cooking it for longer. And eventually you've got this concentrated mix at the end that is potent, very potent. And it contains all of the stuff that the whole pot had. And yet, because you've done it over time, it naturally, all the flavors find their place. And if you rush this process, it doesn't work. It's got to be done over the course of a slow simmer. So this is me doing a slow simmer. By the end of this challenge, bring it down, simmer it down, simmer it down, simmer it down, and to the point that I'm going to be able to fit these, like a 30-minute thing, into maybe 10 or 5 minutes, and be able to really deliver good shit in a short period of time. And I can rush this. I could try and rush it. I don't know if it's going to be helpful, because the main thing is for me is developing the habit along with it, that, hey, this is the thing that I do. I record a YouTube video every single day. Maybe that's my new identity for the year 2024. It's funny, I missed out on the first couple of days of this year, and it'll be all right. It wasn't even a New Year's resolution. It was more so of a timely thing that came up. It seemed to support my mission and seemed to support everything that I'm doing. So yeah. Also, there was some person that put it in the comments, shave my beard, to finish strong and shave my beard. Those sort of comments aren't really helpful, so, because the beard is staying. All right, guys, I think we're about hit time. So before we go, I hope you're enjoying. Please subscribe if you enjoy these videos, if you enjoy me being real in front of this camera. And if you're getting some value, please leave a comment, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.